Alright, good morning everybody. Looks like we are following our trade plan from last night pretty closely here. Mainly what we talked about yesterday was the fact that we kind of lost Wednesday's value very quickly, and then he retested it, and we didn't really have any retrace back into that value. So holding below that value should be slightly bearish, possibly rotating Thursday, or worst case scenario, extending the lower tail of Thursday. And obviously, if you hold above that value, back above 97, that's when you start to retrace and then possibly push back up into those highs. So right now, we're kind of in that rotation scenario where you're just stuck inside of yesterday's value. So pretty much the same story for NASDAQ. You could use this 968 level, or you could use the higher level. Same thing. So the retest is being sold. They are protecting that upper value. So as long as they hold below that, you're looking for that rotation, possibly the weekly magnet, that weekly open. You just have that inside chop, inside balance going on right now. You could say today is a D shape if you look at just today. If you look at yesterday, you could say it is a lowercase b, which gives us that slight bearish bias. Looks like Addis is still having trouble with the data this morning, same as yesterday. Hopefully we don't have any data issues on Trade like we did. Unfortunately, when it bugs out like this, there's no way to really reset it. Alright, let me do one quick reset and then we just won't mess with our settings today, at least in the morning, when the data is a bit messed up. I'm also a couple of versions behind. I probably need to update it this weekend. Yeah, their server is definitely a little slow today. It usually takes me like 2 seconds to fire it up, and it's taking a lot longer to load. Probably still resolving issues from the last couple of days. Okay, so far we are doing a pretty good job building an upper node here. We broke out of this initial node at 72. Pretty strong node at 78 to 82. Kind of rotating right now, but it's getting a little bearish if it allows it to stay below that node. Still hovering around that initial FOMC move. Keeps getting pulled back into it. Good morning, we're going to Tachi Future Trevor. Let me pin the trade plan for you guys. Cosa, Julio, Jose, Banana, Scott, Morris. Good morning, Ram, Fable, Fernando, Estevan, Mario. Good morning, Larry. Ken, Lubomir, Igor, Sam, Brian. Mr. B. Good morning, Leo. VQ, Peter, Greg. Good morning, Darius, Ronaldo. Ariel, Suzanne, eBay. Good morning, Scott. Gan, Flory, Ollie, Chevy. Good morning, Trader, Pluto. Good morning, Chuck. Good morning, Charlie. Destiny, DRC, Titus, Angelo, Scott. Good morning, Tom, Lulu. Good morning, Roman, AT, and Win. Appreciate you guys all being here. Happy Friday. So far, not the cleanest open. Little sloppy. Liquidity is kind of low. Volatility is pretty high. Recovering this upper node. Keep an eye on that FOMC level around like 7,000. We flipped the trail green on the 30-minute. We had a beautiful bottoming pivot yesterday on the low there. That was one of our combo signals with the purple shading and the blue pivot. You hit the trail, and then you sold off the trail, and now we're finally flipping that trail. You have your flip right here on NASDAQ 30-minute as well. So possibly starting to get a little bit of buy pressure if we can hold above that. Problem is, we still have to hold above the value high of yesterday, which is basically like the high, not the high of day, but after the open, the high of day. The high of the pullback. So we had Apple earnings yesterday. Looks like they beat on earnings, but same as the other companies, the beat doesn't matter. They're still down a little bit. Gold having a pretty nasty day, down over 5%. How about silver? Silver down 13%. So here's that psychological number that we were talking about, that nice whole number at 100. If they can sustain sell pressure below 100, that's really bad news for these late buyers. Obviously, it's not bad news for all the buyers because they're well in profit. But all the late buyers above 100 are going to look pretty bad. But like I said before, we've had these big sell-offs on the way up a couple of times, and they did not hold. So will this one actually hold? That's what you have to look out for. People are always in a rush to, like, find the top. They think they're going to miss the move. But if this does really top out, it was literally at $30 or like 20-something dollars a year ago. It went up 400%. I don't think you're going to miss the top if it's down 10%. You know what I mean? think I forgot to post the stream alerts. Let me do that now. What's today, the 30th? Keep an eye on VWAP here. VWAP being tested at 838 on NASDAQ, 961 on ES. Not a good look for that trail that we were just talking about. They are wicking that trail. Or sorry, not the trail, the pivot. They're wicking the pivot. Possibly coming back to the trail. There is a pivot at 66 and 867. Right now we are just rotating. So like I said, as long as you stay below the value high of yesterday or the value low of Wednesday, this is still kind of a rollover top on the higher time frames. Lower high, lower high. So we have that sell pressure just kind of holding us down. Possibly the weekly open still acting like a magnet as well. The same thing on ES. You could use the 97 level in your trade plan, or you can use the 79 level. They both kind of have the same effect. Lower high, pushing value lower. Also have a pivot on the 5-minute as well, so getting a little bit of top pressure here. See if it can hold below VWAP. The profile size has no... It doesn't matter when it comes to shapes. The shapes are literally just visual. Does it look like that letter or not is really all you're looking for. The actual numbers that go into the profile don't matter. When doing volume profile analysis, the shapes are probably the most elementary analysis that you do. Everything else is a bit more advanced. Figuring out what to do with your trade plan, the levels, the patterns, like the setups, I mean, the retraces, all that stuff. But the shapes you really don't have to think too hard about. It's literally just a visual representation. Does it look like that letter or not? Does it look like a capital P? Does it look like a lowercase b? It just helps you very quickly look at a couple of profiles and say, okay, this day was balanced, this day is slightly bullish, this day is slightly bearish. Like if I look at this here, it takes me like 1 second to say it looks like a bell curve, it looks like a D shape. I don't have to do any fancy analysis to figure that out. It just quite literally looks like the letter D, so that's how we trade it. It is a balanced. It is a non-biased trading day. Both directions are kind of getting a little bit of what they want. Now it's starting to turn a little biased because they keep bouncing a little early. They keep bouncing off the middle of the day here. It's a bit too one-directional for a bell curve. Good morning, Ryder. Good morning, Joan. Good morning, Faraj. Boat. The trick with finding the day shapes on volume profile is if you have to think about it for longer than like 30 seconds to a minute, you're probably overthinking it. If you can't quickly figure out what shape it is, then the trade plan is not going to be as obvious. The bias of the day is not going to be as obvious, which makes your trading a little bit harder. So that bounce that we just had today and yesterday, we talked about the daily trail yesterday. Daily trail giving you a couple of really good buys on the low there at around 23 to 20. Now the problem with these buys on the actual daily time frame, like if you're taking this as like a macro trade, is normally let's see if I have an example here. So compare these together. So this one, you had that buy, and then you always it's like a VWAP trade. You target the prior high. You want to see a higher high. So you had a higher high there. Then you had this one, and then it sold. Sold again. You had this one here. Did not give you a higher high. So the lower high is very weak. Then this one came in here, gave you a higher high. That's a good signal. So the new ones here, we do not have that higher high just yet. We have these coming in. We kind of have a higher high, but that is, don't get mistaken here, that happened before these candles here, so that doesn't count. So we don't technically have a higher high after that bounce yet. So that could be a rollover if that bounce does not generate a higher high. So like if we come up here and then stall at like 7K, that would look pretty weak. So keep an eye on that. Good morning, Tamer. Liquidity's still really bad. So it looks like there is a deal to make it so we do not have a shutdown tomorrow. I don't see like the actual details on the deal. I don't know how long it's going to be funded for. It sounds like it's more of a short-term fix, not a long-term fix. But then I see this headline 17 minutes ago says they're delaying their call today until what time would that be? 4:30. So after hours, as they struggle to pass the funding bill. So it sounds like they're very close to a deal, but it's not absolutely finalized yet. Okay, rotation is nearly complete. Keep an eye on that. If it loses that value low, possibly back down to VWAP. Okay, here's the VWAP. No reaction on VWAP on NASDAQ. He broke right through it. Possibly a full rotation back to 55, maybe even a really bad rotation. Rotating yesterday, that's back to the weekly open. Couple of things I really don't like about trading today. The liquidity is very low, a lot of blue orders coming in. And I also don't like the like inside day of not, it's not like a normal inside day either. It's like an inside day of a very wide value range. So those two things combined create a lot of chop. If you're an inside day of like a very bell-curved type of day, like you have two D-shaped profiles back to back, it's pretty easy. You just have like a standard rotation. But we don't really have that right now. Keep an eye on NASDAQ here. It's trying to hold below VWAP. You see how quickly we're just moving back and forth? That is the problem with the low liquidity. It's very easy to break these levels. It's not extremely sticky. You have a couple of nodes building up here and there, but it doesn't respect them. It's not rotating those nodes. You can see the liquidity in multiple ways. One, you can see it by what I was just saying. It's just kind of quickly moving around. You can see it on the blue orders, the level 2 orders coming in. And you can see it on the level 1. The level 1 is just not trading any contracts like whatsoever. We had really good liquidity earlier this week. I think it was like before the FOMC. It was trading like 70 to 90 contracts per tick. And now we're down to like 10 or 20 contracts per tick. To be a little sticky, it needs to trade like around 50 contracts per tick. If it's above that, it just gets better, but below 50 is really slow. Or sorry, really low. Good morning, Scooby. A lot of buyers coming up at 84. Big block trade there, too. 1,200 contracts. Could be like a 30-minute bulldog. It's kind of ugly, but very similar pattern. If this does continue to extend this upper tail, watch the value of Wednesday. coming up around 7,000 to 7,020. So far, it does not like that block trade. Block trade not really being protected here. Gold now down 7%. Pretty strong pullback there. You know, it's not that bad until everyone starts crying on Twitter about gold going to zero. Most of the big names are doing all right today, except for Facebook, kind of down a little bit. Pretty decent trend on Nvidia. The energy sector's been on quite a run recently. Yeah, it's a very mediocre day. Look at how many names are just gray. They're not really moving at all. Visa had earnings as well. They're down 2%. Nothing interesting today, and not really. It's a really slow day as far as like news and data goes. Well, you'd hope that's not true, Chris, because they would be getting wrecked right now. I mean, if they did it recently. If that was happening on a grand scale, like over the last 6 months to a year, then I could see that. But recently, definitely not. That argument mainly started coming out because of the Tether stuff. The company that runs Tether, I believe it is. I might be mixing these details up a little bit. But from what I remember, they were heavily investing in gold. I think they have one of the largest inflows of gold of anybody right now. I think that's where a lot of that like crypto people are investing in gold. That narrative came from. Yeah, as do most smart people, Chris. That's the problem with trading is if you're trading the smart way, nobody's going to hold for massive runs like this unless you're specifically meaning to. Like if that was the plan in the first place. But if your plan was I'm going to get out when it goes up 100% and then you sell it 100% and then it goes up 500%, I mean, not really anybody's going to do that. They're not going to hold for 500%. It's like I used to talk about back in the crypto days when I was trading crypto all the time. And people would always come in my chat and they'd be like, "Oh, I'd be a billionaire if I held on to all my Bitcoin from 2010 or whenever the hell it started." And I kept telling them, I was like, no reasonable person would buy Bitcoin at $1 and hold on to it until it gets to $100,000. That's just a fairy tale. That's a dream. A lot of the people that made a disgusting amount of money in the crypto days is because they forgot about it. They had a bunch of crypto that they invested in the beginning and they forgot about it. And then 10 years later, they're like, oh shit, I have all this Bitcoin. I'm now a millionaire. Yeah, you lost your hard drive. Yeah. There's always exceptions, right? There's always those crazy people that they're really just they're planning on it. They're planning on something going crazy like this and they stick to their plan. Kind of like the GameStop guy. Like he had that in the works for a long time and he just stuck to it. But it takes a very special kind of person to do that. Especially if you're like a normal, like everyday living paycheck to paycheck kind of person and you're already sitting on like $1 million in profit How the hell are you not going to take profit on that and you're going to let it run to $10 million or something crazy, you know what I mean? Like you're literally sitting on life-changing money. It could be $100,000. It'd be life-changing money for most normal people. So it's really hard to sit on life-changing money to see it continue to grow. It's just a fairy tale. It's what people tell themselves. The thing about the market is every single person in here, if you've been trading longer than maybe 2-3 years, you all have a story of something like that where you could have held on to something and it would have made millions and millions of dollars. I have multiple stories of that. I just don't think about it. It's just trading. It's going to happen over and over. I'm going to have it happen many more times in the future. Hey, VQ, I usually get the indicators added after stream. So as soon as stream is over, I do a double check, see if anybody signed up overnight, and then I add you to the indicators. It's all done manually. So if you sign up like overnight when I'm sleeping, you just don't get added. You don't get added until the next day. It's supposed to send you an email that says like, hey, thanks for joining. Wait like 24 hours or so to get access to the indicators. But I think sometimes it doesn't send that email out. Yeah, it's like any sane person. Keep it on VWAP here at 66. If you bought Bitcoin at $1 and it went to $10, you're already insane not to sell it at $10. You're up 10x. Who the hell is going to hold it to $100,000? Like, nobody is doing that. That is like the biggest fairy tale that everybody always tells themselves. Like I said, the only people that did that are the people that completely forgot they had a hard drive of Bitcoin. And it's the same thing with gold. Like, people have, like, maybe gold in their safe or something they forgot about or whatever. A lot of boomers have like silver coin collections or gold coin collections and stuff like that. We actually had a silver coin collection that we sold a couple of years back, probably like 5 years or so back. It just goes hand in hand with this story. It's like you can hold on to it for like a long-term investment, but most people are not going to. If it loses VWAP, keep an eye on that full rotation. If you're staying below 60, it's getting pretty bad, possibly rotating yesterday back to that weekly open. Very nasty sells on that value high so far. There's just no sticky price action. It's not finding a level that it likes yet. But yeah, it's almost every single industry. Same can be said with like Pokemon cards. How many people had Pokemon cards back in the old days, right? And they're beating themselves up saying like, "Oh, damn, if I would have just held on to my Pokemon cards, they're worth thousands of dollars now." You had the same thing with like what the beanie babies or whatever they're called. Yeah, sports cards. Sports cards are blowing up as well. You had the same thing with video game items with Counter-Strike, CS:GO. Their in-game skins had a massive market blow up. It's just inflationary assets and supply and demand, right? These things don't have a massive amount of supply, and as the demand goes up, they just inflate, 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 and they just keep getting more expensive. Yeah, that was my main game back in the day. I used to play Counter-Strike um, very often. That's actually probably partly what got me into trading, is I used to do a lot of the skin stuff. I was kind of already into trading at the time, but the skin trading definitely made trading a bit more attractive, I guess you would say. Unfortunately, I just quit gaming and I didn't game as much. And I had a lot of skins on Counter-Strike and I sold them for basically like break even, maybe a small profit. I wanted to get rid of all my skins because I was leaving the game. And then not even like a year or two later, that's when the market exploded. And all of my skins would have been worth like 10, 20x what they were worth when I quit the game. It's all just a timing thing. Oh, does Rainbow Six have something similar? Yeah, I think a lot of video games are trying to replicate the CSGO market, and they're just failing to do so. It was kind of an enigma. For you non-gamers, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's basically like think about like Call of Duty, and all of your guns have like fancy skins, and you have like knives and stuff that have fancy skins. It's kind of like NFTs. They were basically NFTs. And it started this massive betting market, and the betting market just exploded the skin prices. So a skin that you bought for like $20 could be worth like $2,000. And it's all real money too. It's not like in-game money. Like you could sell it for real money. And funny enough, that got a lot of people into trading crypto. So if you guys were trading crypto back in the day around like when I started streaming, like 2016, 2018, around those days, I'd have a lot of people that would come into stream and they would talk about trading Counter-Strike. It was the start of a lot of traders' careers if you're a millennial or younger. Probably younger than like 30, 35. Keep it on VWAP here. Staying below 60 starts to really retrace yesterday back down to the weekly open. Yeah, I saw that. I saw a YouTube video about that, how they just overnight killed the entire market and people lost like thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, because of one small update. Good morning, Michael. Yeah, I still have an inventory of like cases and a few items here and there that I just haven't touched. I'm sure they're going up in value for the most part. I mean, this price action is just horrendous. It's just not sticky at all. You are just moving through these levels like they don't exist. Be very careful today, guys, especially because it's a Friday. You don't want to give away all your gains from the week. Typically on Fridays, if you had a really good week, you want to give yourself like a little allowance to trade with. And if you lose that allowance, then just call it a day and take the rest of your profit and run. Right now, we're just rotating from value low to value high of the full session of today. But the rotation is not a normal rotation where it's like slow and it's kind of stalling out around VWAP, POC, getting very sticky around the middle. It's just blowing through these levels. Which can be a good thing if you are relying very heavily on these value levels, if you're respecting them. Do an opening stream one day? Yeah, probably not. I'm just not in that game in that game or in that realm anymore. If I ever got rid of them, I would just bulk sell them on the market. Yeah, back in the crypto days, those were like the two things that got traders, or three things actually, that got traders into the market. It was RuneScape, Counter-Strike, and poker. So normally when it's moving like this, I would increase my scale, but I tried to do it earlier and it kind of broke my chart. I'm just leaving it alone for now. But normally you would want to increase the scale to tighten these candles up. Yeah, all the meme coins and the meme stocks, those were mostly blowing up because people were... Robinhood was blowing up, so people were just getting on Robinhood and trading whatever was popular. Does Roblox have anything like that? Like, does Roblox have like a skin market or like a trading market or anything like that? Probably not, because it's mostly for kids. But I know that game's been blowing up recently. They do. They have a marketplace where there's rare scans. Gotcha. Yeah, I assumed so with how big that game is. They're publicly traded, I believe. What's their stock doing? Let's see. Oh, so funny enough, they had that pattern that we'd like to trade. So I just completely forgot about that one. But here's that pattern that we'd like to trade on stocks, where it has that IPO. It goes into its accumulation phase. Once it starts breaking out of that accumulation phase, kind of think about like a value breakout. You want to be a buyer, and you want to target whatever the high was before the accumulation phase. So that was a good trade back in 2024. Around like, what, $50? It made like 200%, nothing crazy. Yeah, that's that exact pattern that we're trading on a couple of names this, well, I was going to say this year, but it was actually last year. Now that trade's over. Yeah, it's a very good pattern. If you guys see that on the high time frames, like the weekly, monthly, sometimes daily, where you have that IPO, you have that initial breakout, breakout fails, accumulates for a year or two, and then it goes crazy. We traded it on American Eagle. We traded it on Intel. There's always one name that I forget. We traded it on something else as well. And then we're also trading it on Rivian. Which Rivian did fantastic for our short-term target, but our long-term target is not looking too good. Here's our Rivian trade. So our short-term target was damn near perfect. So you had the accumulation breakout happen somewhere around here, back around like $15. The short-term target is the gap fill right there, which is around 22 to 23. That's a very good gain. That was a very good trade if you guys traded that in Discord. About 47%. But our long-term target, like I just talked about, retesting the IPO area, that's just not happening right now. So where it is right now, for this long-term trade to still work, it basically needs to find buyers immediately. If it starts holding below 15 to 14, this goes into a nasty retrace back down to around $11 to $10, which then it just goes back into that accumulation. So if you wanted to keep accumulating it for that long-term trade and look for like 2 years out, 3 years out, you probably could. But obviously in the short term, that's a nasty drop. So yeah, really good short-term target, long-term target, not looking too good. Basically, the textbook pattern is Palantir. If you look at Palantir, what it did over the last couple of years, what's funny is we talked about that one way back when it was doing the accumulation. We completely forgot about it. Me and Dime were both talking about trading that when it was around like $8, $10. And then there was something going on. There was like a craze. I think that's when like the AI bubble was starting to pop off. So we started trading all the AI names. Just completely forgot about Palantir. And then we look back at it a few months later, it's $40, $60, $100, $200. Is it possible to use AI to scan for these patterns? I'm sure it is if you build one. Yeah, I don't keep track of Roblox at all. I'm not sure what's going on in that company. I've only heard the horror stories of Roblox, which I probably don't want to talk about too much on stream, but from what I've heard, it's not a very safe place for all these kids to be playing. A lot of predators on that game. I try not to look at fundamentals too much because they always look bad to me, and it's cost me a lot of money where the pattern looks perfect, and then I look at the fundamentals and I'm like, it's kind of shitty. They're losing money. The stock sucks. and then it does exactly what I thought it was going to do because of the technicals. A great example is one that we had on our list was in that perfect pattern. I started doing some fundamental digging. I found that they had a lawsuit that was pretty serious. I didn't trade it because of the lawsuit. It did exactly what I said it was going to do, based on the pattern. And we could have made like 50% in like a week or two. But I didn't trade it because of this stupid lawsuit. So unless I'm holding something for like a year, like the long term, I try not to look at it too much. But if I am trying to hold it longer than a year, then I try to understand what's going on in that year. Do they have new products coming out? Are they expanding? Stuff like that. Like Rivian, for example, if we continue to hold that trade, they have their new vehicle coming out in the next like 6 months or so. So that's going to make or break the long term of that trade. I don't like using the term like free trade very much. I think it's a stupid term. But the Rivian trade is kind of a free trade at this point because of the short term target being hit so perfectly. Okay, yet again, another rotation being finished here. Is it going to hold back below this 84? If it doesn't, keep an eye on 97. Yeah, Reese, have a good day. Yeah, it's a rough day. If you guys are struggling on a Friday like today, where it's just really sloppy, you don't want to give away all your gains trading something like this. The liquidity is really bad. The only thing that's working right now is trading the value high and value low, and you almost have to blindly trade them because they're not giving you a lot to go off of. If they keep protecting these upper nodes, it's going to try to break, but it's failed that break every single time today, so it's hard to say. No, I don't trade pre-market, but the pre-market moves have been really clean recently. If you guys have the hours to trade pre-market, it doesn't really fit my schedule. No, I don't follow like anybody. If you're referring to like a YouTube streamer, I have no idea about the trading world. I make far too much content to watch other content in my free time. I see people like when I'm scrolling through YouTube every now and then, but I don't really like watch their content. I think I had a bad experience when I first started streaming because it was I was one of the very first crypto streamers on Twitch. It was like brand new. And it was me and like four other channels maybe. And then it started blowing up and more channels started popping up. And we were all trying to like collab with each other just to boost viewership and whatnot. Um and it just became like a bunch of like high school drama bullshit. People were just being very snaky and slimy and scamming and just all that bullshit. And I just quickly decided that I'm just going to do my own thing. And since then, I've just done my own thing, really. I don't do collabs for the most part. The farthest I've gone in like collabs is I do like stuff for companies. Like I did a webinar for like Addis. I think that's really like it. I think I did like a couple of other ones over the years. But yeah, I don't really collab with too many people. Just kind of like doing my own thing. Okay, so we are rotating back down. Keep an eye on VWAP. It has ignored it pretty much every single time. Value low is 61, right below VWAP. Hey, Mr. B, have a good weekend, man. We'll see you on Monday. It sounds like the shutdown is still gonna happen. Well, we don't know until 4:30. 4:30 is the they were supposed to talk at 11, which I don't think is going to happen. They postponed it to 4:30. So if they don't come up with an agreement at 4:30, there will be a shutdown this weekend. So possibly a lot of the sell pressure that we're seeing is because of that. But I think this liquidity issue that we're seeing right now is the market doesn't know if there's going to be a shutdown this weekend. No, I saw earlier they postponed it to 4:30. So unless there's a new headline that came out after that, I haven't seen that one. There's no like one thing you're watching. You're just watching the reaction. Is there a lot of buyer delta coming in? Is it breaking the 5-minute highs? Is it constantly wicking the bottom? Is it showing nodes above VWAP? It's just like everything that I teach combined. How fast is the tape moving when it breaks the level? Good morning, Mauser. This is probably the stickiest it's been on VWAP, but still not showing a lot of buy pressure. We're failing that FOMC low like damn near to the tick. We also failed it yesterday. So that was that initial 5-minute range of the FOMC where most of that volume comes in. It's also a nice whole number. It's 7,000. Might be one of the most boring morning sessions we've had recently. Yeah, Reese, so as I said in those videos, I'm trying to do them every Tuesday. There should be one coming out on Tuesday. Stuck on VWAP here. If it loses VWAP at 67, you're still looking for that rotation back down to 60. Losing 60 gets a lot worse. Yeah, it's not untradeable. It's just kind of boring. You just have that rotation protecting the value high, protecting the value low. If you lose 60, it could drop pretty rapidly. That's kind of why 60 is the low of the day. They understand they need to protect. They need to protect 60. Okay, so our downward rotation is basically finished. It's just whether or not it's going to stay below 60. Trying really hard to hold on to this VWAP. Yeah, it's not going to show the brew code as long as it has the size and the invoice number. You're good to go. You don't have to send like the full like massive page of receipt that they send you. It's just I just need to be able to see the size in the invoice. Pretty bottom heavy candle here. If it can stay below that 70 node. Starting to build a lot of bearish delta on the low here. Hey Wesley, congrats, man. That's awesome. No, I haven't looked at that indicator before. I'm not sure. Keep an eye on 60 here. Holding below 60 gets pretty bad. You have the POC note of yesterday, which goes down to like 53, so you have a little bit more support below 60. But once you lose that, you could be pulled back into that weekly open and that value low of yesterday. You're already seeing the impact of losing that 60. It's lost 10 points already. Very weak value on the low, though. Not finding too much below this 53, which is that bottom of the POC note of yesterday. Very trendy on the 1 minute. Keep an eye on those EMAs. Also, 5-minute highs being protected. They are protecting it from single prints here. If it did continue to push down, we're closing this candle in 3 minutes. So whatever is below like 55 will be single prints. Speaking of single prints, yesterday we talked about it on the morning stream, but you guys didn't see it play out until the afternoon. But we talked about how pretty much all these days recently, they're just not leaving open these large clusters of single prints. They might leave like 1 or 2 open, not a big chunk of them. So yesterday we had these massive zones of single prints. They were like 10 to 20 single prints total. And the afternoon had that bounce, and you filled in all of the single prints damn near perfectly. So we did not close with a single one. So very good retrace there. Keep an eye on this low here. If they keep pushing down, it's going to have maybe a couple of single prints going back to 55. They are protecting it for now, though. All right, no single prints on that close, so now they are safe to push down if they can hold below these EMAs here. They need to hold below this back test of 60 as well. They're pretty much the same today. They're doing the exact same moves. The big problem that you have sometimes is one will be making like higher highs, but one will be putting in like lower highs. Same thing with the lows. But as long as their highs and lows and the overall structure is the same, they're exactly the same. This high is the same, that low is the same, this high is the same, this low is the same as well. They're nearly identical. All right, what are we at today? We are at 86 likes. If you guys can get that to 100, we'll do a Apex account giveaway. And while I'm doing that, here is the last reminder for the raffle, we're going back to our old style of doing the raffles. If you guys used code BREW at any time in January, just go ahead and send your receipts over to this email right here. admin@oasistrading.io. You get 1 ticket per 50K, so if it's 100K, you get 2 tickets, so on and so forth. We're going to pull Discord prizes and cash prizes. Try to put them all into as little emails as possible. If you can fit them all into 1 or 2 emails, that would be great. Don't send me like 1 email per account. It's just going to spam my email. Yeah, the cash prize is done through PayPal, and obviously Discord. You just need to have a Discord account. And for the indicators, you would want to have a TradingView account as well. I'm going to be pulling that on either Saturday night or Sunday, so be sure to have those sent to me before Sunday, preferably by tomorrow, but tomorrow is the last day of the month. So if you buy some tomorrow, just be sure to send them my way. Okay, for the giveaway, appreciate you guys getting that over 100. Thank you. We're going to do a random number 1 through 50. Just pick one number between 1 and 50. Have your email ready, because if you win, I do have to confirm your email. You're going to have to send me an email, and then I'll send the code to you. Yesterday, for the first time, we had somebody win, but they didn't send me an email, so I had to re-roll. So please don't do that today. Pick a number between 1 and 50. Pick one number. If there's a tie, we'll do a tiebreaker. Yeah, if you can, Julio. If you bought 10 accounts, just put them all into one email if you can. And then I'll calculate how many tickets you have based on the account size. Yeah, definitely be sure to email me, guys. I haven't received too many emails, so you guys have pretty good odds of winning right now. Not a lot of people have emailed me compared to people who are using the code, so be sure to send those forward. I typically pull a couple of winners, anywhere from like 2 to 4 winners. I pull a couple of cash prize winners and a couple of Discord winners. So it's not just like one person gets everything. All right, what time is it? I'll give you guys one more minute. Just pick one number between 1 and 50. It's going to be for a Apex promo code that will give you a free account for 30 days. Which, by the way, Apex is still 90% off until next Wednesday. So if you guys buy any accounts next week, obviously that would be for February. So same exact thing for the raffle for February. Don't send those right away. I always ask you guys during the last week of the month. So if you guys use the code in February, just hold on to all those receipts, save them somewhere, and then during the last week of the month, I'll have you send them my way. All right, I'm going to go ahead and roll. The last name that I see is Chris. It is 10. Does anybody have 10? If you have 10, let me know. I'll double check your chat history. I do see one. Ray Beach. Del Rey. Anybody else? I do see another one, Carini. Is there anybody else? Carini and Beach. I'll give you guys like 30 more seconds. If you pick 10, just let me know. I'll double check. I see you guys. I see Carini. I see Real. Oh, it's Realtor. I got you. Realtor and Carini. I'm going to do a tiebreaker for you guys. If I missed you, let me know, guys. I don't see anybody else. Okay, for you guys, pick a number between 1 and 10. And I will do a tiebreaker. Here, let me roll this one time because it's already on 10. I don't know if that messes with it. There we go. Keep it nice and fair. Okay, Carini has 5. Realtor has 4. All right, good luck, guys. Okay, it really does not like either one of you guys. Okay, this is getting ridiculous at this point. Still doesn't like you. Still doesn't like you. Okay. All right, this is ridiculous. Okay, it's 5. I think that's the most amount of time, the most rolls I had to do for a 10 number roll. All right, Carini, it is you. Let me give you my email. There you go, Carini. Send me an email. Just let me know what your YouTube name is in the email, and I will send you a random number to confirm in chat. If you guys are heading out, I appreciate you guys being here. I will be streaming on Monday, same time as always. Enjoy your weekend. Hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe if you guys enjoy the content. If you guys have not already, be sure to check out that Becoming an Apex Trader series. It's a 5-part series that basically gets you caught up with everything that I teach on the live stream. So if you have any basic questions, that series will probably answer it. It's not going to show you the code. Like I said, I only need to see 2 things. I need to see the account size, and I need to see the invoice number. Those are the only 2 things that matter. So as long as you use the code for that receipt, account size, invoice number. If you guys are heading out, enjoy your weekend. If you guys are in Discord, I will see you guys there for the rest of the stream. Let me see if you emailed me, Carini. I don't have it yet. Go ahead and send that email. Just send me your username, your YouTube name. And let me know in chat once you send it. By the way, we are holding back above 60, so they are protecting that POC node of yesterday. So instead of seeing a full rotation, we're kind of on a half rotation here, where it's hitting the value high, and it's using the POC as the value low. So you're stuck between that upper half, which is slightly bullish, because obviously if it was bearish, it would rotate back down. So you can think about that as like a higher low. You just sent it? Awesome. Let me take a look. All right, I sent you a random number. Just type that into chat so I can confirm it. Yeah, the wicks on the high are definitely not good. Like I said, it's failing the value high. So value high is still acting like resistance, and the POC is acting like support. Gotcha. Code is confirmed. I'll send you the promo code for Apex next. So that next code you see, just go sign up for any account on Apex. Size doesn't matter. And then just put the promo code in. It will be free for 30 days. Then it will go back to charging you normally. So if you don't pass it in 30 days, just go ahead and go back to that brew code. But all right, guys, last reminder for this raffle. If you have not already, be sure to send any receipts you used code BREW for in January. I am pulling this raffle on Sunday. So be sure to send them by tonight or tomorrow. Any account you used besides the 25Ks. 50K is the minimum. So any account above 50K that you use code BREW for, just go ahead and send them my way. Not to the giveaway email, send them to the admin email. admin@oasisstream.io. We're going to be doing cash prizes through PayPal and Discord prizes as well. Same as always, we do this every single month, so if you guys are new here, we will be doing that in February as well. But all right, guys, that's all I got. Appreciate you being here. I will be in Discord the rest of the day. If you guys are not in Discord, enjoy your weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace, everybody.